Sheffield, the seventh largest city in the UK, a student population of over 30,000, a city-wide population of over 500,000 people, included in Time Out magazine's top 50 coolest neighbourhoods in the world, and yet one of two UK cities without a pride. And not only that, according to census data, it has one of the lowest populations of LGBT people. In fact, it's the lowest for a city in the north. Sheffield's only gay bar? Dempsey's. As well as being ranked 111th for best bar and club, it's also located on the Moor, which has one of the highest crime rates in the city. So it begs the question, is Sheffield the place to be if you're queer? But first, let's see why we need a pride in the first place.
Some homosexuals have their own places, which they must stick to. Others have nowhere.
Children who need to be taught to respect traditional moral values are being taught that they have an inalienable right to be gay.
I obviously don't want children taught that the gay and lesbian lifestyle is natural or normal. It is not, it never has been, and it never will be.
The 6 o'clock news from the BBC.
Good evening. The headlines at 6 o'clock. In the House of Lords, a vote is taking place now on a challenge to the poll tax. Tory rebels
led away, the women repeated their protest.
Protesting about rights for lesbian and gay people.
I was one of the co-founders of the first Pride in Sheffield back in 2007. The Pride in Sheffield group set up and they ran it for a few years and then COVID struck. For people asking, you know, why don't we have a Pride? That's what we did back in 2007. We were like, why doesn't Sheffield have a Pride? So it needs another group to come forward.
Despite not having an official pride, there is two queer events that encapsulate the polar opposites of what people think a pride should be. On the one side, we have Picnic, described by the organisers as Sheffield's inclusive, family-friendly and biggest LGBTQ+ event.
I'm Evan Allen, I'm an art writer and critic based in South Yorkshire. Given the fact that they themselves market themselves as being family friendly, I can see why they do it.
Does that appeal to everyone? Obviously not, but they're running a small event in the Peace Gardens. If it did appeal to everyone, like the last Pride, we think got 16,000 people. If they appealed to 16,000 people in the Peace Gardens, they'd have an issue because they're not going to fit.
Again, going back to the wording of section 28, it referred to same-sex relationships as a pretended relationship, pretending to be a family. Just imagine hearing that now. Much as I find elements of it distasteful, I would defend to the hilt its right to exist because of the way in which family and its importance to society is so valuable.
Including a stall specifically for South Yorkshire Police, which certainly divided opinion.
It's pretty disgusting, to be honest, to see South Yorkshire Police pretending like there isn't a problem, pretending like they're not institutionally queerphobic, ignoring the fact that hate crimes against queer people in South Yorkshire have increased by like 96% over 4 years, and nothing's being done about it, and ignoring the fact that they act as oppressors of queer people.
Who's that? This is one of the organisers of the other event in Sheffield.
taking back space for ourselves, we're taking back space the people who run this city have denied from us, and giving that back to queer people. And I don't think Sheffield City Council values me, I don't think South Yorkshire Police values me, I don't think the people that govern this city do. I think the people who live here value us. We'd like to see more support for queer people to live our own lives and to have our own spaces.
It's an interesting little microclimate of places that you have to search for, you have to know. And it's terrible in terms of marketing. It's terrible in terms of people from outside the city knowing that it exists. The things that are here, like gut level, do I have to explain what gut level is?
No. In fact, you just saying like gut level, I could probably then transition.
Yeah.
Gut Level is a DIY collective.
They run a wide range of community events throughout the year, like parties, art exhibitions, talks, and even queer speed dating.
Well, I didn't find myself sort of being comfortable in my queer identity until I found spaces like Gut Level. Because I mean, you're exposed to like very kind of mainstream queer venues, you know, I've been to Dempsey's once or twice, but it's not exactly the kind of place where I ever felt like me, especially growing up, you know, somewhere where there's nothing like that at all. To actually have these spaces is, it's just been amazing, really.
Yeah. And a lot of the spaces where we went out and like partied in, like, were very like male dominated. Yeah. There wasn't room for like being queer. Or
being exposed to queer culture for the first time was very eye-opening, and especially the type of queer culture that Gut Level sets itself within, which is a bit sort of within the cracks, a bit subversive. It's easy for us to sit here and say we haven't a need for this because every week we're in Gut Level.
That's true, yeah.
Bonding with queer people, talking to queer people, befriending queer people, and we can enjoy that. But if you didn't know what Gut Level was, which is still a very sort of underground community of people, then where would you feel comfortable expressing yourself?
That idea of being able to actually, rather than just be like, well, where's our space? It's just, well, we make our space. Like, we don't have to wait around for some company to open a new club. Do it ourselves, you know, we'll make spaces to do the things that we want to do. There's got to be an inn somewhere. It's not somewhere where you come to Sheffield and you just find out about all these things going on. You've got to kind of know where to look.
What I think makes Sheffield so unique is that anyone you ask within Sheffield or anyone you speak to, you're like, oh mate, I have an idea to do this. And you know, their response is always, well, let's do it then, let's just get stuck in.
So whether your idea of a pride is a family day out, a political stand, or simply just being involved in a vibrant queer community, Sheffield has you covered.
Coming from a big city myself that had a big gay scene and village, and then coming to Sheffield and you're kind of like, oh, is this it? I would much rather take the sort of DIY gigs and sort of pop up of a community and it being a bit rough around the edges.
There's no sort of us versus them sort of culture. There's just, I want to put something on. All right, then let's go do it. That's great. That's a good way to end, isn't it?
Literally the words I was going to say. That's a really nice.
Yeah, that was a good one.
You felt that as well.
Yeah.